In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the letter E using a rubber band loom. I'm using a Rainbow Loom, but you can make it with any loom that has the pins set up in a straight line. And we'll only be working with one row of pins, so I have removed the other two rows, but if you have a brand of loom that the pins do not come off, that's just fine. You will need 21 rubber bands to make this letter, and you want the arrows to be facing away from you. So for all of these bands, I'm going to be doubling them. And to do this, I place it on my hook, twist, and put it back on. I'm going to just start on the end here. Just going to move to that next pin up. I want to place 6 rubber bands working up the loom. Again, it's always going to be doubled. I'm just going to that next pin up. Now some people like to double the rubber bands on their fingers, but I prefer to use the hook. So whatever you find is easiest for you. Now that's our third band, and we need to do 6. These are going to be a little bit harder to get on since they're doubled, but I think it helps the letter keep its shape better. And then I want to push all of this down to the bottom. And now from the start again, I want to put 4 more bands on, working my way up the loom. Again, they're going to be doubled, and they're going to go right on top of the bands that are already on. This is going to be the one arm of the letter E. So this is my third band. To make sure they both get on there. And I have one more to do. And now what I want to do is place a cap band on this very end pin. This is where I just stopped working. It is the 5th pin in from the end of the loom. And in order to do a cap band, I'm going to place it on my hook, twist, and put it back on. Twist, put it on again, and twist and put it on again. So I want it to be quadrupled. You can see there are 4 bands on there. I'm placing it right on the top of this pin. It's going to be a little bit tough to do. It's going to be tight. If you have bands that aren't very stretchy, you might have to just triple that band if you feel like you're having too hard of a time to get it on. And now I'm going to turn my loom around, and I want to loop the bands in this top row. So I'm taking my hook and putting it down through, pushing back on the top 4 bands, grabbing just those next 2, leaving this bottom alone. I'm taking those bands out and moving them forward. And then I'm just going to go down through the middle, grab the next 2, and move them up. I'm only working on that top layer. I'm going all the way to the end here. And now I want these 4 bands to come off of the pins, all except for on the end. So I'm going to place my thumb on the end pin here, because I don't want the bands to accidentally slip off. I'm going to place my hook inside of where this cap band is, and I'm just going to carefully pull these off. And now what I want to do is take these bands and move them out to the side here. I want them to go straight out. It's going to be the top of my letter E. So now I'm going to turn the loom around again, and I have to put more bands on. So this time I'm going to do the middle part of the letter E. So from the end of the loom, I'm going to count to that 4th pin up. This is where I'm going to start my next band. and I'm going to put 3 bands going up the loom starting on this 4th pin. Again, it's going to be doubled, and it's just going to go up to that next pin. And as I said, I'm going to do 3 bands. I did 4 bands for the top one, but I want this to be a little bit shorter since it's the middle. This is my 3rd one. And you can see it's going to stop right on the same pin where that bottom layer is as well. Now we want to put a cap band on the end here. So again, I'm going to quadruple this band. It's going to go right on the top of this pin. And now I'm going to turn my loom around again so that the arrows are facing towards me. And again, I just want that top layer to come off. So I'm reaching my hook down through this cap band, pushing back on those top 4 bands, grabbing the next 2. I'm going to hold this cap band in place, and then these are just going to keep moving forward. And now we're on this pin where we first started, this middle arm of the letter E. Again, I'm going to put my thumb over top because I don't want these to come off. I'm going to reach my hook down through this cap band, and I'm going to carefully pull these off. Now once again, I want to slide this around so that it's going straight out, and you can tug on these a little bit if you want. Try and get them straight. And now once again, I'm turning the loom around so the arrows are facing away from me. And now it's time to put the bands on for this bottom of the E. So I'm going to start on this last pin here at the very bottom, and I want to go down 4 bands, place 4 bands here. So starting here, I'm doubling. So that's my first one. And here's number 3. And then we have one more here to do. And now on the end pin here where we just left off, we want to put a cap band. So once again, I'm going to quadruple it. Going to place it right on the top. It's going to be tight. And now I want to turn the loom around so the arrows are facing me. And now I'm going to push back on those top 4 bands. Now this time I don't have any upper layers. I just have this one layer. So I'm taking those 2 bands and getting them off of that pin and moving them ahead. And I'm just going to repeat that till I get up to 4 bands. So one more here. So now we want the length of 4 bands. And again, I'm going to put my finger on top of this pin, reach my hook inside the cap band, and pull these off. Once again, this is going to slide around, and it's going to be straight out. I want it to go as straight as possible. And now I'm going to continue to work my way up the rest of the loom. I'm going down through these top 4 bands and pushing back, grabbing just the bottom 2, and I want to carefully get these out and move them forward. And now I'm just grabbing those 2 bands that are left on each of the pins. Now here in this, on this pin, we have this middle part of the E, so there's going to be a lot of bands on here, but You're going down through all of the upper bands. You're only worried about those bottom two and pulling them out and up. And now we're just going to continue on here till we get to the very top. And now I want to reach my hook through all of these bands, push it out to the side. I'm grabbing this very last band. I'm pulling it up through, and I am putting the other end back on my hook. And I want to slide this to the top here of the E. Try to get it at the very top. And now I'm going to pull this off very carefully. It's going to be tighter where the other bands meet. And now I want to get this band that's closest to the hook loop through the other one, and I'm going to pull that nice and tight, making a slip knot. And then here is my letter E, and you might have to mess around with the bands a little bit, try and get them as straight as possible. And then there it is. I hope everyone found this tutorial easy to follow. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching.